Hey there. So it is still National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I could be wearing purple, but I didn't get around to that today. And I have a bunch of children running and playing inside the house. So if you hear bumps and thumps and squeals, that's why they're having a rowdy time in there. Today, I want to continue our series on systems of abuse. We've been going step by step through all of the 13 aspects that are present in systems of abuse. We have covered some amazing stuff. We've covered children. We've covered culture, we've covered emotional abuse, we've covered financial abuse, intellectual abuse, and physical abuse. Today, we are going to talk about pets and stuff, pets and property abuse. So if this is something that you are glad is being put out there, if this is something you have someone that you know about that should use this, or if you have a group, maybe a support group that you're in and you want to share this, please hit share. Drop a comment. Let me know that you're here. I love hearing from you, and it helps me to know if you have any questions. Drop them in comments underneath, or you can message me on my Sarah McDougall page here on Facebook, and you can find out more there. At the end of this video, I'm going to share about my best books to read list, about wellness and clarity coaching, and of course the domestic violence hotline, and some other free resources that are out there for you, like hundreds of videos that are there for free. So please hit share, drop me a comment, tell me that you're here, and let's get started with this. So pets and property abuse. This is one of the forms of domestic violence that women often don't have any idea is actually domestic violence, that it's actually abuse. So what does that look like? Let's go through some options. Here are 6 ways. Of course, this is not comprehensive. This doesn't mean that this is the only ways, but here are 6 ways that pets and property abuse can be domestic violence, especially if it's part of a bigger pattern, a larger system of abuse where there is an inequality of power used to exploit one person by the other. So, number 1, if he confiscates your car keys, or keeps your driver's license, or keeps your passport or your other identification to keep it safe, but really it's so you're trapped, it keeps you from going places, that's domestic violence. That's preventing your freedom and keeping you prisoner. If he damages your automobile or just absolutely refuses to keep it safely maintained and fueled, limiting your freedom and your safety so that you and your kids are not able to safely make your appointments, go to the doctor, do what you need to do, that is domestic violence. It is part of a larger pattern and system of abuse. If you're watching this, share it, definitely. Now, if you're watching it at one of the private groups, you're gonna have to click on the original one to share it out. But yeah, so number 3, trashing your stuff. Now, a lot of times I hear situations, and Lundy Bancroft talks about this in his book, Why Does He Do That?, which is in my best books to read list, which I'll give you the link for that. But a lot of times women will talk about how a guy just snaps, he gets really mad, and he starts breaking things. And one of the things that I think it's Lundy he talks about is at one point he started asking women, well, whose stuff does the guy break? Does he break his own stuff? And the women sit there and think, it's always my stuff. Or the children's stuff. It's never his own stuff. So if that's happening to you, if someone is getting angry and lashing out with their temper, don't make excuses saying, oh, they just have a temper, they just need to have anger management control. Because they can control it if it's someone else. If someone else is watching or at work, they can control it if it's their stuff. They aren't just indiscriminately smashing everyone's things, including their own. They're smashing your things. That's knowing, that's purposeful, that's intentional. Or what if you have things that you are really attached to, things that you love, and they just go missing or get damaged. You don't know how it happened, but it's a consistent pattern, and it's always accidental, or it just got hidden. And then they're like, I don't know, I can't find it. I don't know what you did with it. And they blame you. That in a marriage is, as a purposeful way to control the things that you love, is domestic violence. Someone who harms your pets or gives them away without your permission or knowledge, or refuses to provide care and food for them. If, let's say, you're on a trip and they don't like your animals and they are always antagonistic to your animals and they just refuse to care for your animals, that is a form of domestic violence. It shows an abusive, exploitative mindset, and it's taking it out on the pets instead of on you, but because you love your animals. Someone who threatens to harm, just like threatening suicide, to manipulate you, saying, if I can't have you, I can't go on, or if I can't have you, no one will. Those are forms of domestic violence threats. Doing the same thing with making threats to get rid of your animals or to harm your animals is the same as doing it. It's still a domestic violence act. So I know of one case where a now ex-husband told his wife then that he mentioned a story about when he was a little kid. He liked to steal the neighborhood pets and then skin them alive and torture them. And he would tell her this as a way of making her afraid, to intimidate that he would do that to her if she got out of line. He would like to be able to still do those kinds of things as the purpose of telling that story. That is, it could be considered sociopathic behavior, but it definitely falls under domestic violence. Someone who punches walls, slams doors, breaks things, throws things, wreaks havoc, and makes you afraid, even if they're not actually physically punching you. There goes the train. I don't know if you can even still hear me. I'll take a little break for a second here. Someone just left a comment under the video where I'm doing this live that some of her things were taken to the dump. You didn't even notice it was gone, he would say. And she had 3 dogs with chronic hip injuries. May have been because he kept kicking them in the hips, kicking and punching in the head for the pets. That is domestic violence through and through. Someone who threatens to do any of the above, even if they don't follow through on the threat for whatever reason, those are forms of abuse and domestic violence. So a lot of times, we don't think about these things as being a domestic violence exhibition or behavior. We think, oh, well, he just gets mad sometimes, or oh, he just really doesn't like my dog, or oh, he just has these fits of rage and I just need to stay out of the way. You are living in a domestic violence relationship. Someone who will damage your car to keep you from leaving, someone who will hide your keys, someone who takes your cash, someone who hides your identity or keeps you from traveling because you can't get a passport or you can't get a driver's license. All of those things are forms of domestic violence, especially if they are happening along with any of the other signs of a system of abuse. You pair all of those together and the pattern makes it domestic violence and abuse. All right, so on my website, www.wilderness2wild.com, and I've included the link here in the description. I have best books to read lists. I have the best books to read for advocacy. I have the best books to read for recovery from abuse and trauma, and I have best books for going over things with your kids. Kids resources and parenting resources. 3 best books to read lists. And I also, on that same website, www.wilderness2wild.com, I have opportunities for clarity and functional wellness coaching after trauma. Coach Bren and I work together. She does the functional wellness coaching, I do the clarity coaching, and all of the information is available there under the coaching tab at the top of the website. You may notice an invitation underneath this video for my Wild Trauma Mamas group. If you are parenting through trauma, this may be a great private support group for you. Please answer all the entry questions. Sometimes I get lots of exposure from the videos, and then nobody answers the entry questions, and we can't add you unless you've actually answered the entry questions. So definitely do that. The National Domestic Violence Hotline number is in the description of this video. In case you are living in this kind of situation, please call and ask for someone to help you evaluate your level of danger. And last but not least, there's over 300 videos on the YouTube channel, and that is youtube.com/Sarah McDougall. So I hope that this is a resource that is helpful to you. Stick around, because there's this whole playlist. We're going through all 13 aspects of systems of abuse, and drop me a comment, or it's the end of the week. It's Friday today. I'm ready for the weekend, ready to take a break and have some rest. Send me a message if you have any questions or if you want to know more. And in the meantime, have a wonderful, wonderful day.